if it passes review, I can keep adding to it. And so I'd say I choose an article because I want to be the person who makes the article. And then there's I choose an article or a topic or a person or I have done like I've done multiple sporting venues, like a swimming pool or a swimming center. So I choose these because I want the page. And for me, kind of embedded in that, or that's encapsulated in that part of that, is I want to continue contributing to this article once I have made it. So it's not, I want the article, which is very common, and there's nothing wrong with that. The more uncommon is, I want this article and I'm gonna keep contributing to it or curating it. So if somebody adds to it and it's unsourced, the person who made the page might go and remove it. They don't have to add text. They don't have to write and publish. Like, I appreciate people who do stuff like that. That's not my approach, but I appreciate that because I can be like, I'm interpreting this as they are okay with people contributing. So I can write and publish on my pages, but I can also go to these other pages where people are more of they want the page, they make the page, and they curate it, but they don't necessarily add text and references. And I'm like, I could do that. Like, and so there's I've been really enjoying myself and making pages for topics, person, place, or thing that fits into kind of a larger story, be it my life experience. So there's a professor at Princeton who's a geologist. I attended graduate school for her. A number of the references that came out, so misinformation is a really big deal in this day and age, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. We were in the same office building, saw each other at our kind of regular departmental functions. I know that the article published in Scientific and American, they did a spotlight on her. I know that she did the interview. The information came from her. There's a podcast with a radio station from the University of California, Berkeley, where we were both PhD students. I talked with her before and after the interview, kind of thing. Like, I know that what was in the interview was correct because we even sat down and talked about the interview. So the amount of, my baseline for making these articles is something about this page I can personally verify from my own lived experience. So I'm not going to create a page or an article. I'll keep calling it a page. Article. I've made pages that are not articles, but I'm not gonna. So this is specifically about articles. So that's why I'm kind of getting down on myself. It's about articles. I'm not going to make an article about something that I know is not true. Another example of something where I made the article because of the social impact was YouTuber Jennifer Mabus, also known as the Whimsical Woman. She hiked the Pacific Crest Trail northbound in 2018, and it was just like everywhere socially. Because it was during the summer, and she posted more than most people post so like people might take video footage every day. They hike a really long trail. The trail's over 2,000 miles long. It takes her over 100 days, kind of thing. A lot of people will film every day or some portion of every day and then upload, like, it'll call them episodes or something. And there might be like 2 days together, or there might be like 7 days together in one video. She was a huge breakthrough in the world of thru hiking and YouTubing thru hiking because she gave every day its own video. And it was a huge breakthrough. Like, it was huge in the science community and stuff like that. Everything was like, every time I went out with friends to dinner, they're like, oh, are you still not following this person yet? I'm like, I'm following this person because I'm talking to you. Like, that kind of thing. And so, like, for that one, it was kind of like well, she might not have as many views on her YouTube channel as some of these like established they are YouTubers, but the social impact, I have never heard of the person who has, you know, some billions of views. I'm like, the only time I've ever heard from this is when I'm searching a Wikipedia category for YouTubers, versus the whimsical woman, Jennifer Mavis, like percolated my 2018 summer socially. Like, right? So I'm like, just because somebody has billions of views does not mean I've ever heard of them. Right? For real. And so I make pages that have real impact in my life. I've lived it. And so there's that. And then this year was a little weird in sports, and this is kind of the other thing. And so I would say that kind of describe everything as I'm interested, and I want to keep up with this topic, person, place, or thing, or whatever. And so I made an article. The other thing is, this year was a bit different in the world of sports because Russia was banned and or blocked, and Belarus was banned and or blocked, and I had been writing about at least one Belarusian and numerous Russians, and so I was like, I need new pages. So I do also make articles and pages that I would not necessarily make if there is a diversity for myself component. And there's still this kind of background that I just described. What's an example of that? I have been following swimming for a while. This is not my first exposure in writing and publishing on Wikipedia to the Croatian language, to the Italian language, to the Serbian language, to the Romanian language, to Dutch and stuff like that. I have, my first exposure kind of came when I started following swimming in depth, as I was like, there are no good English articles on people from blank, right? So I would actually, to try and figure out what happened, I would brute force first exposure to these languages, just try and figure it out, without any textbook, without any language lessons. And so I'm coming back around. This is not my first time with these languages. I perhaps have a better understanding. Some of the vocab I'm learning, some of the grammar I'm learning, but not like I could give you a rule. But my point being is it's not first exposure to these languages. So there's a bit of, well, if I'm going to choose good swimmers, since in the United States of America, Australia, Canada didn't show up to at least one world championships kind of thing, or big major event, sporting competition. And so it's kind of like, well, these are fast people, and it'd be good to have at least a second exposure to these languages, especially if I want to work on page curation. And these people are fast enough that they might come into the story for some of these other people whose Wikipedia page articles I've created. So there's a bit of kind of like stepping back and getting a broader view and being like, yeah, I might not have made this page, but I'm okay with accepting a little bit of, this is going to give me a headache because I don't know Croatian. Right? The page might take me 5 times as long because there is no Google Translate, and I need to figure out what this article says, and I don't know the language. But I purposefully choose articles for that reason. So if you're a Croatian and I made your page or your article, part of that is just trying to learn literally your language. And showing that via this article. So that can also be a reason, is diversification of my own skills, or in improving my language skills. It helps me with my English too, as I'm like, is this what I'm really trying to say? Like, so learning other languages, even if just through secondary or repeated exposure, if nothing else, it's a big one. So that is the elaborated, my baseline selection criteria for Wikipedia articles I create.